town board will a review of the 2021 zoning changes associated with 230 Salt Road and the adjoining lands per town code section 225-5.1 subchapter F. And I know that there is a gentleman. Are you Jared?
I am.
Hey, all right.
How are you?
Come on up, Mr. Jared. And I will say that Charlie, would it be safe to say in layman terms for this, that about approximately a year ago the town board voted to change the zoning from R2 to R3 on these lands?
Correct, it was in April of last year.
Yes. And just by law statute that if there's been no movement on that,
No construction, correct. Yes.
that we need to at least hear why, and that's Jared, why I think you're here.
It is, and if there's any questions from the town board, I'd be happy to answer them. So, as a point of reference, May 6th of last year was actually the...
Jared, I'm sorry, I apologize. Could you give your name, address, and who you're here representing on this?
Absolutely. Jared Hurt with Emmons Fox on behalf of Forest Creek Equity Corp. Address is 100 Meridian Center, Suite 300. So, by point of reference, last year we were here before the town board seeking a rezone of 230, 250 Salt Road. It's approximately 69.5 acres. We were looking for that parcel, it was actually two parcels, to be rezoned from an R2 to R3. The town board voted on it on May 6th of last year. By a vote of 4-1, they approved the rezone. Pursuant to the town code 225-5.1F, if the property hasn't been subject to construction over the course of a year, we need to appear back before the town board for review, just to consider whether or not essentially the rezoning is still appropriate or if anything has changed. So after we received the rezone from this board on May 6th, we submitted a sketch plan for the subdivision to planning board on July 20th, and then on August 17th, we received preliminary approval with some conditions from planning board. The purpose of the 69.5 acres is going to be a 79 lot residential single family subdivision. So since August 17th to current, there were some conditions that were attached to the preliminary approval, which through my office and counsel for the town, we have at this point, I believe, worked through to allow us to proceed with the development. So that really is the cause in sum and substance for the delay. So, but I believe Mr. Genesi, not to put words in his mouth, and I think we're on the same page in terms of proceeding forward. So.
Yeah, I would confirm that I think the major reason that they're, not to take your thunder, but the main reason that there's been this delay is because we've had some fairly serious issues that we had to resolve. And Mr. Hurt and I have gone back and forth, and the clients and the town have gone back and forth as to how we can resolve these problems and concerns, and that's why there hasn't been any construction. So that's just my input, my comment on that.
So I'm more than happy to answer any questions that any councilman might have.
Jenny?
I was not on the board at the time, so I'm sorry, I get to abstain myself.
John?
What were some of the stumbling blocks?
With regard to, there was a sewer connection that we were working out the practicalities of it. There was an additional means of ingress, egress for fire apparatus access that we were working through. I think those were the two big things, really, that we were working on. So.
What I'll tell you, John, what happened was that subsequent to the approvals, it came to the attention of the town that, and it was something we were not aware of, but within 24 hours after the planning board approvals, we became aware of the fact the law or the regulations of the state had changed relative to ingress-egress roads, and that they now required a second dedicated road for a subdivision like this. Okay, and there's a number of issues with that. it was not only the configuration of the road, but the fact that we have to deal with a county, it's a county road, not a town road. So we had to deal with the town, with the county. There was also issue of who was going to be maintaining the road and the makeup of the road to satisfy the town. So I think we are to the point where, and I'll refer to Josh and Pat, I think we're satisfied as to at least the planned development of this road, correct?
Yes.
At least as far as physically how it's going to be laid out.
Correct. The most recent configuration definitely meets the spirit of the state fire code. So yes, I believe we've come to a resolution on all issues.
Did that answer your
Yes.
questions? Okay.
Bill? Okay. Patty?
I have no questions, I'm just happy that we're finding a resolution to this.
Yeah. And Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, this is not an actionable item by us, it's just Terry's come back.
Well, it's actionable in the sense that, yeah, I mean, I think basically what you're doing is confirming the prior resolution.
Right.
My own belief is, and again, I'll defer to anybody who has a better grasp of it, I believe this would be a type 2 seeker as opposed to type 1, which the first one was. This would be a type 2, and that it's nothing more than a administrative function of the town board. So if the town agrees that they can proceed, at least with the rezoning, as far as any issues of going back to the planning board, that's another matter. So.
Well, I just want to make sure, and I think, Jerry, you've been made aware, unfortunately, because it is a county road, and DOT is a county, it's almost the first step before you go and do anything with our planning board.
Yes, I've talked to Charlie about doing a revised and updated seeker. But I think for purposes of tonight, it really is just more of a confirmation in May of the prior rezoning. We're not asking for, hold a rezoning application or anything like that. I think it's just a matter of us coming back before you guys to discuss why it hasn't been developed and make sure that it's still appropriate.
It might be semantics when I say it's not actionable, we're not making a motion or a resolution.
Well, yeah, actually you would.
Oh,
You would make a resolution accepting and continuing the rezoning if the board sees fit. Yes.
Well, then Dolly, you ready? I will make a motion. The Webster Town Board sees fit to keep the zoning change from R2 to R3 on 230 Salt Road and adjoining land that was done back in April of 2021. Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Adams?
Jared, thanks.
Thank you.